I am the founder of Stitcherhood, a community for textile recycling entrepreneurs, hobbyists, and industry professionals. And I am also an artist, and I make and sell my work as well as teach my process to people who are interested in crafting while being environmentally minded. So it adds a level of meaning to your work to use materials that are recycled. And this series that I started out Monday of this week is all about ways that you can take textile waste and make that into things that will serve you and keep you from having to use things like single-use plastic silverware. On Monday, we talked about my little Wherever You Go wraps. This is a silverware wrap. Inside this napkin is rolled a knife, a fork, and a spoon. Somebody commented and said, hey, you should put a reusable straw in there too. Great idea. I got the silverware that I put in these from the thrift shop, and it's all stainless steel silverware from, mismatched for whatever. I have yet to find a recyclable or reusable stainless steel straw in that setting, but if I find them, I will scrub them out really carefully and sanitize them so they're all ready to go, like I do the silverware, and I'll stick one in there too. Yesterday we talked about bags and making a nice bag to use to bring to the beach or to the music festival you might be attending this year, because I think that we're going to be able to do that this summer. And today I wanted to talk about sitting, because a lot of the summer entertainment is you're sitting outdoors, right? Whether you're sitting in a canoe, paddling around, or fishing, or sitting on a festival blanket, or picnicking. Yesterday we talked about these beach bags that I make out of denim. Today we're going to talk about this little chair pad. These are made like on a frame loom, which I have here. Oops, in another denim bag. Got hooked on there. So these are the potholder rug frame looms, and this is the smallest size of the frame looms that I make. And you can make yourself a frame loom like this. These are screws that are placed 1 inch apart all the way around the perimeter. You can also purchase looms and loom kits in my shop. And you can make these really comfortable and insulating and useful little chair cushions that you can put on the ground. This one happens to be made out of mostly, my Instagram camera just fell over. Hello. This one is actually made from recycled socks. Hold on a second. I just have to fix this. I think you guys have, if you've been around, you might know that I have this treasure trove of socks that are from a sock factory. They're single socks that a friend of mine retired and closed his sock factory down, and he had like 35 or 40 years worth of sample socks that his salespeople had used to show the line to different buyers. And so these are recycled, but they're not used. And they're all, cut up and woven together into this really cool mat. And like I said, this is about a 15-inch square, so it's nice to put, like you could put it on a chair, which is its original purpose. But as I've lived with my kids and gone to festivals myself, I throw one of these in my bag and I sit on it, and I'll tell you something. It keeps you from getting chilly in the evening. It's nice and insulated. They're easy to care for. You can throw them in the washing machine and dryer. They're great on if you're fishing and those plastic like cushions that people put on those metal seats in their fishing boats. This is a much better alternative. It's not going to pollute your waterways or leave your planet with more plastic in the landfill. So I encourage you to think about all the things that you purchase this summer and any season in the future that are, just be really mindful about how you want to leave the planet for your if they're descendants, or if you don't have children, the young generations and the future generations. So how many people out there listening to me today are excited to get outdoors this summer and hang out with friends? Pop a little comment in the comment field and let me know what's your plan. Are you going to do something fun this weekend? It's Memorial Day weekend here in the United States. It's a holiday weekend. We have 3 days off, and I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna be hanging out with my sister and her family on Monday, um, outdoors. We're gonna have a picnic. We're gonna bring our own food just because we're not really comfortable yet, although we are all immunized. The kids are not fully immunized yet. They just got their first shots. But what are you guys doing this weekend? Are you going to be outdoors with friends? If so, what are your plans? Do you have plans for greening up your event so that you can not use, or you know what? I have to tell you something. I don't want to plant the seed that anybody's doing anything wrong. So I think it's important to remember that as long as we're being mindful and thoughtful and we're thinking about our environment and using our best judgment when we're having events, going to parties, picnicking outdoors, attending music festivals, do the best you can. Like, this is not like a competition. This is not like, you're not going to get demerits. It's just going to be, as you get more familiar with how you can walk through your life with environmentally mindful practices, you'll get better at it, just like you get better at everything else. So, you can start with using cloth napkins instead of the paper napkins, right? Those are machine wash and dryable. You can use them for years, actually. And then, think about silverware. Do you want to pack yourself little napkin rolls with silverware inside that people can either take home and wash, or if you're going to take them home yourself and wash, you want to make sure you have like a place that you can store the dirty dishes or silverware that's not going to get gross while you're outdoors having your meal. So I do things like I pack a little compost bucket with a cover. I also have like a plastic Tupperware tub that somebody gave it to me when my son was little, and it was full of Legos. So I use that. It fits right in my little wagon that I use for picnicking. And I put all the dirty dishes in there so that when I'm leaving at the end of the evening, I'm not sifting through like gross, dirty, soiled salad dressing and whatever else on the dishes with whatever else I've packed. So prepare yourself and start thinking about that now as we kick off summer 2021, and think about ways that you can have as much or more fun than you've had in the past, and leave a smaller environmental footprint. So, hello everybody. I'm so glad that you're all, there's a lot of people watching today. Charisse, and you're crafty, and your sister's the artist. I love that handle. I see you follow me around, and thank you for your support over the last few months or years. Who else is in here? It's hard for me to read because I don't have my glasses on. But I'd like to welcome anybody who's new, and thank anybody who's a diehard follower and fan. It's such a pleasure to build this community with you guys. And actually, speaking of communities, one of the kind of silver linings that I found from this pandemic that we've all been dealing with for the last year and a half almost, it's not really a year and a half, but it feels like it. I started, okay, I'm going to tell you a story because I think it's kind of cool. Back in March of 2020, I started something called a Scrapbox Challenge. Does anybody know about that? Did you guys participate? Do I have any participants watching or listening? Type a comment in the feed if you are one of those people. The way it worked was I had a ton of scrap in my studio that I really wanted to pass on for other people to create with. And I thought, I had done a Scrapbox Challenge a few years prior to that. And I thought, I got such an overwhelming response for people who wanted boxes of scrap to create with that I wound up making scrap, like cutting up materials in my shop to give people who I promised these boxes to. So the second time around, I was like, I'm going to do a Scrapbox Challenge, but I can't make scrap. Like, that just kind of defeats the purpose. So I packed up all the boxes and I said, okay, I have 60 boxes. Like, they weren't very big, like maybe twice the size of a shoebox. I have 60 boxes of scrap that I can send out to 60 people. And rather than saying it's first come, first serve, I wanted to make it kind of fun and a little bit of a game. So I said, okay, whoever, you can sign up, you can apply for this scrap box challenge, and I'm going to randomly pick 60 people out of the mix who get a box. So I sent boxes all over the world. Actually, we had one go to a few in Canada, one in Mexico, one in the UK, if I remember correctly. I think one went to Italy. Anyway, 60 women, they were all women, all over the world, received these boxes, and we did this fun little, like, there were rules involved, which is highly unusual if you know me. So you had to make a little video of like unboxing your scrap. You had to submit different like little documentation along the path. And then at the end, everybody it was a competition. So whatever you made out of this box of scrap was then in this, you could vote on the one that you liked the best. And that took us from that, the boxes were shipped out on March 9th. And I remember that date because it's my mom's birthday. And by the 13th, I knew what the word coronavirus meant. And I didn't even, like March 9th, was not on my radar at all. So I shipped them out on the 9th. And by the time those boxes arrived at their destinations, people were like kind of freaking out. Like, what is a pandemic and how are we going to travel through this time? And what is this time? We were told it was 2 weeks at first. My kids were done with school for 2 weeks. So long story short, through the last year, 15 months, the people who were in the Scrapbox Challenge a lot of them are friends. We had Zoom meetings. By May, we were able to have our voting. You could vote. And so that's just like exactly a year ago from right now. And that it made me realize how important community was to me and to all the women who were part of it. And I didn't want to let it go. I didn't want to stop. I was like, in this pandemic, I live in a very rural area. I'm very isolated already. And then to have that happening, the pandemic happening as well, I was just like, I need to create something that's going to keep me from losing my mind and feeling really like lost. So I created a couple of other collaborative events that we did as groups. We did a couple of different stitch-alongs, which I will tell you about another time. If you want to learn more about stitch-alongs, there's a couple articles on my blog that's called Rag that you can learn more about them at. But anyways, so I realized through all of this, through the Scrapbox Challenge and through the stitch-alongs that we did, that community is really important to me, and it's also really important to other people. So I started a little membership organization, and there was about 20 people in this group, and we would meet on Wednesday evenings at 5:15 and just make stuff together. And it's a subscription thing, and it was like Facebook group and 20 people, and bonds were built, you guys. Like, people really became good and dear friends. And it became apparent to me through the past year that the Facebook group and the Zoom meetings on Wednesdays was great, and I loved it, but I felt like there was so much more that I could offer this kind of a group, and I felt like there was so many more people who might be interested if I could get the idea out into the world more. So I took a class on a platform that's called Mighty Networks. And Mighty Networks is kind of like Facebook if you took away all the advertising and all the like algorithm stuff, right? So you can build yourself a Mighty Network, and you can have a community in that network for any subject matter. And of course, I chose to have my Mighty Network called Crispina's Stitcherhood Recycling Society. And we kicked that off on March 22nd. You can join if you go to my website at Crispina. It's Crispina, like my first name, .eco, and you'll see at the top like the navigation that says Stitcherhood. At any rate, since March 22nd, there have been over 1,200 people join that membership. And it's blowing my mind. I am so excited at the overwhelming. Like, I thought, we'll probably double the membership. Maybe we'll get 40 people. That would be cool. So I'm learning. I have a helper who's really helping me figure out the platform and make it really serve the needs of the members in the best way that we can. So I encourage you to check that out. And I encourage you to share your insights on how that is for you, because it's amazing for me. And it's not quite done yet, to be quite honest. On June 1st, we're going to kind of launch the kind of done version. So right now it's kind of beta still, and it's a little nervous and jerky, and it's a little, there's some questions that people run into that we're going to try to address with our update on the 1st, which is Monday. So in the meantime, I see somebody's waiting for socks tonight, and it was, and yeah, I'm so glad. So that means, for anybody who's not aware, this is made out of socks, like I was talking about earlier. So like I said, my friend Matt closed his sock company down, and he gave me literally like mountains. Like my studio is kind of like, I need a snorkel to get through. There's socks everywhere. So I thought, you know, I could make these socks into rugs, or I could sell these socks to people who want to make their own rugs. So I have a shop update that's happening this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you go to crispina.eco and go to shop, you'll see the navigation, and you'll see all the stuff that's going to be for sale. Well, you won't see it now, but at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the shop will be updated with all kinds of new product that stuff that I make in my studio, which is really my passion, and I love to make things, but I also love people. So hence here I am chatting with you guys. And I have boxes of socks, and they're separated out into 3 different sizes. So they're the smallest size box of socks makes this size little chair pad. And then you can get the larger ones for the larger size rugs that I offer. So there's a 20 by 30 inch rug that takes the medium size amount of socks. And then there's the large rug that I offer. My looms are in these sizes, and the large ones take about, I think, about 11 pounds. Anyway, the good news is that if you're into socks and you want to, if you're into potholder rugs and you want to use socks, that we have them, you can incorporate your own single socks from your laundry basket. If you're like me, you probably have some of those. And some of them we actually cut ahead of time for you. So you can buy them either whole socks, and you might find yourself a couple pair, or you can buy the cut socks if you want to get right to weaving. So that's what that little comment meant. So I'm so excited to have you guys here. I need to get to work. I need to get my shop in order for this evening at 8 p.m. So I'm going to sign off, but I wish you all a really beautiful Thursday. I don't know if anybody's near me, like in the Northeast. I'm in Western Massachusetts. It is the most glorious day today. It is sunny and warm. It's about like 65 degrees. The sun is shining, the leaves are rustling, they're fresh, like they're still a little soft, our fresh, brand new leaves. The butterflies are fluttering. This morning I was in my studio, and I could hear my rooster crowing out the window. It was like heavenly. So I hope you guys all have a little piece of heaven in your day today. And I hope to see you. Well, I'll be back tomorrow at noontime to answer any questions you guys might have about the stuff that's in the shop, and to offer you my final tip of the week on how you can green up and make your summer 2021 full of eco style. So I hope you have a great day, and thanks so much for joining me. And there we go.